Starting over is one of the most exciting but also one of the most nerve-wracking decisions you can make. It is full of possibilities but also comes with a lot of challenges, some you expect and others that catch you completely off guard. Hi, I'm Christina. I'm a dentist who didn't take the traditional path. At 27, I decided to leave my corporate job and go back to university for another 5 years in order to pursue my dream of becoming a dentist. It wasn't easy and there were oftentimes moments where I wondered if I made a mistake, but looking back, those challenges were part of what made the journey so rewarding. Whether you're switching your jobs, move cities, or like me, rewrite your entire life plan, starting over looks different for everyone. Today I'm sharing some of the key lessons I learned along the way, lessons to help you feel prepared, inspired and motivated in order to face the challenges that might come along your way. And if you want to hear more about my full journey, stay until the end for a link to my story. Number one is feeling out of sync and behind with your friends and peers. I have to say that this is something I found rather difficult to deal with and accept. Pursuing my dream of becoming a dentist meant that I not only had to go back to uni for 2 or 3 years, which maybe would have been easier to cope with, but it was a total of 5 years. So while I was starting over, all of my friends' lives progressed into a direction that you would expect at this point. So they were getting married, they were, starting a family, they were building their first homes. And so while it felt that everybody was upgrading, I was purposely downgrading. And I didn't just feel out of sync with my friends who were my age, but then also when I went back to uni, I also felt out of sync with my peers because some of them were a lot younger than myself. So while they were going through their first time at a university, first time moving to a new apartment, I had been there already. So in a way, I felt behind with my friends that were my age and I felt ahead with my new friends. And that was a bit of a tricky situation to deal with. But what I really want to point out and stress at this point is that this should not intimidate you to the point where you sacrifice your dreams just to fit in. Because at the end of the day, situations change and nothing is set in stone, even though that's also a bit of an unsettling thought to cope with. Nothing is forever in a way. While I was back at university at age 27, surely some of my friends progressed, but at the same time, by the time I had been at uni for a few years, my friends' lives changed as well. While I was pursuing my dream, some of their dreams fell apart. Some relationships ended, some plans didn't go the way they had anticipated. So don't feel bad if you feel behind by starting over. And I also want you to keep in mind that everybody loves an inspiring story. In a way, now looking back, even though I felt at the time as if I'm completely downgrading my life while everybody else is upgrading, my journey has also inspired others. When I was about to graduate from dentistry school, some of my friends started over and some actually went to university and some are still at university. Well, I'm pretty happy that I no longer have to do it. While it might feel lonely right now, it's not going to feel lonely forever, and this is temporary, and you don't know what your friend's life situation is going to look like 1 year from now down the road. At the same time, make sure that no matter what your starting over journey looks like, if there's peers involved or if you're going back to uni, you will find friends and you will feel connected to them. And age at the end of the day is just a number and does not define a friendship. Number 2, lack of understanding from friends and family. You might find yourself in a situation where you're changing aspects of your life or you're starting over entirely and your friends and family will not be on board with that change. And that is okay. They don't have to be. It is of course nice to know that everybody's got your back and everybody is there for you. But it is also okay if that is not the case, and who knows, maybe that might change. I remember my parents were not entirely thrilled when I told them that I'm going to leave my okay paid job in order to go back to university without really knowing how to finance the whole thing. So were they super happy? Not really. And at the same time, I feel in my case there were so many hypotheticals attached to it, as in like, am I actually gonna make it? Am I actually going to be able to finance the whole thing? And so they were worried, which is understandable also, and yeah, they were just not entirely convinced, and that's fine. I think it is also important to keep in mind that most people are quite reluctant to change anything in their lives. And so in order for them to feel okay, you can't change into a certain direction. Don't blame them on that. I wouldn't even go down the road of like, oh, you have a fixed mindset and I have a growth mindset and all of that. No. But at the same time, you'll probably find out that more of your friends than you would have thought are going to be on board with whatever it is that you want to change. Just keep in mind that at the end of the day, it is your journey that you have to be fine with. It is not theirs. And what I hope for you is that you'll actually feel surprised by how many people are willing to support you and think that, you changing some aspect of your life, whatever it is a great idea. And the more time goes on, the more you succeed at what you want to do. I'm sure that people will over time get used to it and support you for who you are. I just hope at this point that your plan change is something positive and not robbing a bank or something, because I'm not sure if my parents would have been really supportive with that either, but who knows. Or maybe they would have been if it had worked out, I don't know. But also in this case, it is important that you find people who are maybe doing something that you're doing as well. So while your family and friends still have a hard time being okay with it, you have other people that maybe understand your journey a little bit more and can help you with certain aspects when friends and family aren't really there. I have to say that my parents, after about 6 months, were totally on board and were telling everybody who didn't want to hear it about what I did, and they still do to this day. Number 3 would be financial and lifestyle. I of course had anticipated that going back to uni would not be easy on my finances and that I'm going to face some hardship on that. I did something that was hyper unusual for me, and that was deciding I would do it without knowing how to entirely finance those 5 years. And this is something that is very unlike me, because I hate financial instability and I cannot deal with it very well. It makes me feel super uncomfortable. So, I was moving from Finland back to Germany, and somehow there were so many things to organize, to keep track of, that in a way I had to take a risk and just make the move first and then see how everything goes, and then hopefully find financial solutions along the way. In the end, I did find solutions, but it definitely took a bit of time and it definitely took a lot of nerves and sleepless nights. But what I want to say is that had I known beforehand how difficult it's going to be financially, I don't think I would have dared to actually make the change. It is so easy to just say, okay, I cannot afford it. It is too risky. I just can't do it. But at the same time, had I not taken this risk, I would have not been able to pursue my dream, and I wouldn't change my life now for anything. Even though it might look very difficult financially, see if you can take a calculated risk. In my case, I knew that financial times are going to be difficult, and not just, as I said before, for 1 or 2 years, but for actually 5 years, which can be quite a long time. But in the end, even though lots of people were telling me that it's not going to be possible, it actually was possible. Of course, do your homework, inform yourself as much as you can beforehand. I'm in no way a financial advisor, and there were quite a few setbacks with funding that I had anticipated, but then I wasn't eligible to, and all of that. But somehow, for every problem, there was a solution to be found, and so don't let that hold you back. And maybe you are in a lucky position where you know how to finance your journey and you're just scared of being on a strict budget, but hopefully you also know that this is just temporary. And for example, in my case, going back to uni meant that actually a lot of people were in the same situation, and so it's not gonna be 5-star meals with 5-star ingredients all the time, but that is okay. So keep your eyes on the prize. Starting over is unfortunately oftentimes tied to financial hardship, but please know that most of the time these changes are also of temporary nature. While it might feel like an endless period now, there's bound to be light at the end of the tunnel. There are better times ahead, and hopefully your change leads to long-term benefits. Number 4 is loneliness. It can feel relatively lonely to pursue your dreams, especially if it involves changing many things at the same time. So of course your natural instinct is to just change everything to how it used to be, just to fit in again. And be back in an environment where everything feels manageable and maybe also foreseeable. In this case, it is important to keep in mind that you wanted this change for a reason and that the hardship is most likely only going to be of temporary nature. In those moments, it is super important that you take extra care of yourself in order to recharge your batteries. So get enough sleep, drink enough water, do all the things that your mom tells you about, but also make sure that you actually get some movement in your body, meaning go for a walk outside in nature. It will make you feel better, I promise. So starting over isn't easy. It can come with a lot of challenges that can feel really overwhelming at times. But remember that every challenge you face is a stepping stone, building your resilience, turning you into somebody stronger and wiser and more capable of handling challenges in the future. Looking back, even though my journey was really challenging, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It also showed me that even in the hardest times, there's growth, and with perseverance, you're working towards the life that you want for yourself. The key here is to really trust yourself and take one step at a time. So don't let the fear of challenges stop you from chasing your dreams. You're capable of so much more than you realize, and better days are ahead, I promise. So I'd love to hear about your journey of starting over, so please share your stories with me in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure that you check out my video in which I talk about my journey from leaving my corporate job to becoming a dentist. I'll link it right here in the description below. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!